Welcome to Recently Logged, where this week we're talking about a movie with that one random guy who played that one random ape in that, only one of the Planet of the Apes movies. Greetings.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
To Recently Logged.
Oh my god. Every week.
My name is Robbie.
Every week we do an intro where we say at the beginning, welcome to Recently Logged. This. And then Robbie comes in and he's always like, welcome to Recently Logged.
I'm not really welcoming them to Recently Logged. I'm welcoming them to this segment of Recently Logged, you know?
Well, then do that every segment, Robbie.
Well, that'd be weird. It'd be a little repetitive, don't you think?
I'm Micah.
And I'm Robbie.
You already said that.
I know, but I'm just reminding them.
So
it's the association, you know.
We're upping the repetitiveness.
Okay.
This week we're back.
We're back
doing our series that we've been doing, our back to school series.
Back to school, baby.
Because people are still back to school. People are in school still.
People are still in school.
Stay in school, kids. And we're doing the Diary of a Wimpy Kid trilogy.
What?
And we did Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
Then we did Roderick Rules.
Yeah.
Now we're doing Dog Days.
We're doing Dog Days,
which is the third and final Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. There was never another one made.
Michael, you're really stressing the finality of this movie. I wonder why.
Because it was the last one.
It was the last one.
That's what you got to do with end of trilogies.
All right. Well, before we actually talk about the movie, let's go over what the people need to know about the movie.
What do the people need to know?
I guess we're going to find out.
All right, so again, we are talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days.
Dog Days.
Which is a 2012 release, rated PG. It is an hour and 34 minutes. Its little IMDb description is, school's out, summer vacation is on, however Greg may not have the best summer vacation ever. What could go wrong? Well, it's Greg.
It's Greg.
The cast features Zachary Gordon,
Hey.
Robert Capron,
Nice.
Devin Bostick,
Yeah.
Steve Zahn,
Yes.
Rachel Harris,
Yeah.
Peyton List,
Yeah.
Grayson Russell,
Nice.
and more.
Okay.
Well, those are the main players
It's
in
a
this
stacked
movie.
cast, man.
Directed by David Bowers.
Yeah.
Written by Maya Forbes, Wallace.
Yeah.
Wolodarski.
Oh, no.
Wolodarski, I think, is what I'm going with.
Probably.
And more. Hold on. It
funny.
says more. Oh, and then it just says Jeff Kinney.
Yeah, Jeff Kinney is the
book author.
The author of the book. The literature.
The literature.
Not to imply that this movie isn't literature.
It was nominated for no Oscars. It was snubbed.
Snubbed. Just like all the other Wimpy Kid movies. What's going on? I know he's wimpy, but he's award worthy.
Cinematography by Anthony B. Richmond.
Hey. Shout out to Anthony B. Richmond for real.
Who's worked on Legally Blonde.
That's a great looking movie. Candyman, the new one?
The old one.
Oh, okay. Well, I just haven't seen it. I don't know if it looks good or not.
And A Cinderella Story.
Oh, cool.
Actually, also Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel.
The Squeakquel?
If
it's the man who shot the Squeakquel, I have to respect him a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what you need to know.
That's what you need
Unless you want to specifically watch the movie.
I was about to say, if you really want to know everything about the movie, go watch it, I guess. And then do some research. I don't know how much information is out there about Dog Days. Read the book, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, the costumer did Juno and It.
Oh, wow.
And Best in Show.
Best in Show. Go watch Best in Show, man. It's a great movie. But anyway, let's get into what we thought of Dog Days.
Okay, I also want to throw this out here. Set direction by Mary. Set decoration.
Set decoration. That makes more sense.
By Mary Lou Story.
Okay.
Who worked on Final Destination, hot rod, and snakes on a plane.
I don't know how I feel about that. Hot Rod. It's a great movie.
It's got good set decoration.
I suppose so. And I didn't take too much notice to it. But that's not necessarily saying that it's bad, so.
All right, so Robbie, what did you think of Diary of Wimpy Kid, Dog Days?
It's hard to believe how recent this movie is,
2012, it's 10 years old.
10 years old. No, like it's a decade
pretty old.
I mean, that's old, but like that's like recent history,
Recent? Dude, what are you talking about?
Like it's if I think Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think like
Bro, the first one came out in like 2010 or something.
Yeah, but I think of like 2000s, like I expect this to be like a 2008
it came out in
movie
2010, the first one. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It seems weird that like saying 2012 with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it just seems weird.
They were part of the 10s, Ribby.
It's true. But anyway, yes. What did I think of Dog Days? I thought, in reference to the rest of the trilogy, I think it's probably the weakest one. But I mean, as we mentioned, if you listen to the first two episodes, I think Roderick Rules is like fantastic. I think it's one of the best family comedies I've ever seen. And the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid is like really solid. Yeah, like unprecedented quality from a kids movie. And I mean, just it's a great movie. I also think Dog Days is great, but
Dog Days is great.
It just doesn't hit the same. It's still very fun. I think the cast really does a lot of the heavy lifting here, as with a lot of the other movies, but the screenplay not being as solid here, the pacing being a little wonky here, the cast does a lot more heavy lifting when it comes to the actual moment-to-moment enjoyment of this.
Yeah.
But I think it is solid. I think it's funny. I think it's fun. I think it does it has an interesting role as a sequel to Roderick Rules and as like the final installment of the trilogy.
Indeed.
I think it makes for a nice closing for the trilogy, but I don't really know. Like it's a very messy movie, so it's kind of an odd thing to talk about. But what did you think of Dog Days? Did you want me to give my rating, or wait till you were done?
Go on. There we go. Keep going. Run the whole podcast. Say everything. Discuss all the points. Go for it. What's your rating?
I rated it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. I similarly agree that I think it's the worst of the trilogy. Just probably the weakest. I still think it's pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, no, I still think it's great.
Again, I think my biggest thing with this is in fact that the biggest thing that carries you through all of these movies is the comedy and the fact that Greg is kind of an insufferable protagonist to follow, but usually in a funny way.
Yeah.
And this one is still really fun to watch. It's just probably the least overall funny.
Yeah,
so
it is. It's the least funny.
It's kind of the most insufferable to watch. But it's not that, like, it's not insufferable of a watch. I'm just saying, like, Greg is like...
It's the one where you want Greg to suffer the most.
No, it's the one where I want Greg to do the right thing.
I was about to say, you actually want him to, like...
We've watched him for 2 movies, and now we're like, come on, Greg.
Come on, Greg. You can do
Me and
it.
Ravi literally just sat there yelling at Greg, like, for most of the movie. Just like, don't do that, you idiot.
Right.
But it's really fun. It's really funny. It's still creative. It has a little bit more of a messy screenplay and structure for sure. But I actually really like what this does as a sequel to Roderick Rules and as an ending to the trilogy. I think it's really sweet. I think they do a decent job of wrapping it up, even though Greg doesn't change as much as I want him to.
You want a reformed Greg.
3 movies in, he's still pretty rough.
I mean, but at least he's like a decent human being now, Micah.
Well, here's what I put this in my review. He's not completely disillusioned anymore. He knows he's a bad person now.
Exactly, yeah. I was about to say he's aware of his faults.
3 movies in, he himself is disappointed in himself, so...
That's character progression.
But yeah, I really enjoy it still. I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
No, Revy, you don't. That's always our spoiler-free part. It's spoiler-free.
Is
now
it
we move into
time?
the main discussion.
I see. Okay. Favorite spoiler in the movie?
Favorite spoiler in the movie's got to be when Rowley knocks out Greg and ends up going on a killing spree because he's finally had too much.
Rowley breaks in this movie.
He does. He breaks.
He snaps.
He's had too much from Greg, and he finally loses everything.
It's pretty good. I will say, the Rowley stuff in this movie is quite fun. I mean, anytime Rowley's on screen in this trilogy, we're having a good time.
No, Rowley's a great character, and he's very much like a side character in Roderick Rules.
Yeah,
he has like almost as much screen time as Shirag.
I was about to say
Shirag is on screen for like 5 seconds, and it's sad.
Right, oh, man, he's such a fun character. Both of them are.
But no, see, Riley being here. I was about to say, you mentioned this while we were watching the movie, or I guess after we finished watching the movie, that this movie, despite probably being a little bit messier than the others, does a really, really good job at like giving pretty decent importance to like all of its side characters and making it work pretty well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting because it has like 6-ish side characters that it juggles with, like pretty well. Like I think it kind of lends to the messiness of this movie, which
because you got Steven Zahn, you've got Rowley,
you got Peyton List.
I love how we're like back and forth between whether it's their real name, because I was about to be like Roderick, so we're just bouncing from actor name to character name.
But yeah, like you got like a pretty good amount of side characters that it dedicates quite a bit of time to.
Yeah, no, they all have quite a bit of time.
And I don't know, it's interesting. Like I would think that it would work better than it does, given how like funny the previous movies are. You'd think with more characters they could come up with like more.
Well, see, I put this in my review for the movie too. I think one of the reasons that its structure feels so weird is take First Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie.
Yeah.
First time in middle school. He is in middle school. He's got all these new things. The entire movie is pretty much spent at middle school, where he is learning that he is not everything that he thinks he is in middle school. Blah, 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 blah. Like, very focused plot.
Yes.
Roderick Rules. Very focused plot. It's all about Roderick and Greg and how they interact and how they get along. Very focused plot. Dog Days.
Dog Days has like 5 separate little plot threads. There's
not much particularly, like there's an underlining theme of like, if Greg doesn't get his life turned around and stop disappointing his dad, he's gonna send him to like military school or something.
Yeah,
but that is not as big of a thing in the movie as I thought it would be. Like,
right,
like
I thought that would be like the big thing in the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of time where his dad isn't even in the movie. Like,
right.
It's just not like, it's not the dialed in kind of plot focus like Roderick or, middle school are in the other two. So the comedy is so like carrying in the other movies because there was literally one goal that the movie was moving towards, which allowed it to just, do whatever it wanted with the comedy in that section.
Yeah, it just takes each like scenario, whatever plot point they want to hit, and they try and milk it for however many jokes they can get.
Whereas this movie, it does not have a clear plot.
Yeah.
It is all of summer as he's bouncing around doing like 50 different things in the summer.
So weird. The Rowley antics are fun though.
The Rowley antics, no, and I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing. No. I don't think that is like, oh, that's like a problem inherently in the movie. I'm just saying that's why I think there's overall less comedy in the movie, because it can't be held. Like, it's not being carried as much by its comedy and simple plot because it doesn't have as simple of a plot. So it's got to focus more time on plot, and it doesn't have as much time to just do whatever it wants with comedy.
Yeah, and I think that's why it does fall a little flatter than the other two, as we've mentioned.
I mean, like, they only have like one cutaway joke.
Right. I was like, yay, we're getting more cutaways.
But it does have Shirag.
Right. Shirag cutaway. I was happy. I was a happy man. That was such a good reveal too.
I got married.
I got married.
Have you know my husband?
Dude. Great stuff.
I just need a Shirag spinoff.
Right. Where's his spinoff?
What's crazy about this too is we watched Jesse and Bunked,
Yeah,
which he is
yeah.
in, um, and he grows up like really fast once he hit like a certain age.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's weird still seeing him in this. Like I don't know when Jesse ran. I don't know what years those ran, because he's
I
about
mean,
that.
Jesse wasn't on the air very
He's
long.
about that size in Jesse,
Yeah.
but he has grown by Bunked.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and like the growth difference between I don't know, man. It's weird.
You think it's weird seeing him still be so short in this movie?
Yeah, because like I'm used to because like Bunked is what I had seen him most recent, and
Yeah, yeah.
and he's pretty tall. He's pretty like he grew up.
Yeah.
And it's weird seeing him in this.
I will say I've loved his work in this trilogy way more than any of the stuff I saw on like the TV stuff he did on Disney Channel.
I don't know. I've liked him in everything I've seen him.
Yeah,
in.
no,
He's
I mean
fun.
he's been fun for sure.
But I do think this character's better.
Him as Shirag is really funny.
But yeah, do you have any questions to continue our discussion?
Well, we mentioned that like the first two movies were about like one specific thing, and this one kind of centers around Greg and his dad
Greg
bonding.
and his dad bonding.
So what do you think of how do you think this movie handles that? Do you think it handles it well, that sort of thing?
I think on paper it handles it pretty darn well. Like
Yeah.
I think I really love the ending stuff with the dad. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I think they do a good job and they've done a good job showing throughout the trilogy of how like that comparison that they're going for that Greg's dad does do a lot of stupid stuff and he makes a
Right.
lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
He's very similar in a lot of ways to Greg himself. So doing kind of running that parallel of why his dad gets so upset with him because he's a terrible person who never takes responsibility for literally anything.
For anything.
For the entire trilogy. Even when he does the right thing, he's just so smug about it. He never is a responsible person in the entire trilogy. So I think that's a really neat thing to kind of show him finally take responsibility. That being said, I think it's kind of there's way too little time dedicated to it.
Yeah, that was going to be my complaint.
They needed more time on this, man. Like Steve Zahn is great. I love him.
Right.
And Greg is great. Like the two of them together have really like the great this entire cast has insane chemistry. You could choose any two characters and have them carry like
Right.
for so long. Any two characters.
You could plug out any two side characters and do an entire scene and it would be great.
like that's how well stacked and how good the chemistry of this cast is.
Right.
So it's kind of weird to me that they spend so much time on like I guess the country club stuff. Which I like the Peyton List side plot. Peyton List is fun in these movies, but at the same time they don't even like they're not like fully focusing on that, and they're not fully focusing on Rally. They're not like it's not like he's at the country club and he is actively making attempts to get her attention. He is sometimes like he does the diving thing.
No, I was gonna bring that up actually. That the country club stuff is always it felt the least focused of anything in the movie because it's always jumping between
but he's
what
also
Greg is trying
I was about to say, but he's also got Rowley. He's also got Roderick. They're just kind of hanging out. Like there is no clear focus of that. So we have all of this time spent at the country club. And like not as much time spent because we have with the dad we have all of the stuff where like the mom's like your dad like you are always like my dad's never there for me, never spend any time for me, and you're not spending any time with Greg, so like spend time with him. And then you have him trying to spend time with him in various different ways, but obviously like not actually doing anything Greg would want to do. You have that, and then it just kind of stops because Greg lies and says he got a job.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting that it kind of drops that as soon as Greg's like, I got a job now, and then he's like, oh, okay.
It's weird. I mean, and it's a fine decision within the logic of the universe. It's a reasonable, not reasonable, but it's a reasonable Greg decision. But like then you just kind of like trickle on a couple things here and there. You
Yeah.
have the blanket thing with the dog, which was a very good scene, and it was nice to see them again like working together. And you have like the comic thing throughout, and
Yeah.
like there are cool moments that are building up for their relationship throughout that are really sweet that I really like, because again I really like seeing these two characters together specifically.
Yeah.
I like him and Roderick, and then him and the dad are like my two favorite character pairings.
Right.
Um, and I don't know, like they just don't give enough time, because then like they're at the, like he's super disappointed because he lied about the job, and then they're at the wilderness explorer thing, and then he's
Yeah.
trying to defend him, and then like boom, he takes responsibility. Like it just doesn't feel like there's much. I don't know.
I was gonna mention, because like for it being like the supposed kind of core of the movie,
Core of the series.
my
really.
my reading as like the core of this movie and like the final conclusion to Greg's story, it seems like they don't dedicate as much time to it as they need to.
Yeah, and it's not even because there's a lot of time spent on it in the movie. It's that they don't, while they're spending time on it, give it the importance that I think it needs, like the thematic importance that I think it needs.
Yeah.
Because again, like they just kind of run through the motions there at the end, and because Greg's dad spends like the entire series yelling at Greg, essentially.
Yeah.
So the one time when he like doesn't yell at him, and you have that, but like
It's a good
as
beat.
much as I don't like melodrama, I wanted that like a little bit more before we got like really Greg feeling the burn of actually having his father be disappointed in him, not just being like, Greg, how could you, but actually just being like, I actually thought you were growing as a person, and now you've just proven to be doing something even worse.
Yeah.
And
No, I mean I get what you're
like
saying.
get a little bit more of Greg feeling that, because I feel like Greg's just, he instantly goes into like planning for like scheming, essentially.
Yeah.
Scheming again to make sure he doesn't go to the reform school.
I will say the reform school, great bit.
No, the reform school stuff is amazing. The tracker.
Oh my goodness,
I don't
dude.
sneak out anymore thanks to the tracker around my ankle. My parents know where I am 24/7.
Dude, that scene is so good.
All
So
the background stuff.
Right. I was about to say that comedic masterpiece.
It
10 of
is.
10. No complaints.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like it's still really it's very satisfying to see Greg take responsibility.
And that's the thing. I think if you watched this movie without seeing the rest of the trilogy, it wouldn't hit as well. Like, I mean, obviously that's a good thing as a sequel, but like I think that also speaks to kind of they don't dedicate as much time as they need to the ending of this, because like I was like, oh, that's so nice and sweet, but I was like, if I was watching this for the first time, like with no context, I would be like, okay, cool. I guess.
He finally takes responsibility, but but like it only feels like, oh, finally.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you've seen all of those
if you've
movies.
seen all of them.
For this, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, he takes responsibility.
So,
Cool. Sure, he was lying. He can't help but lie, man. Like, dude, Greg,
I swear,
he needs
man.
therapy.
He
He
needs
lies
something.
He lies so much.
He just lies for no reason sometimes.
Right? He is a pathological liar, literally. He needs therapy.
Okay, so I was gonna ask since
I had another question.
Oh, yeah,
I had a
okay.
question, but
yeah.
we'll wait for yours.
Okay.
I was gonna say, since we just because we were going back and forth on the question.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, since we talked about the relationship with the dad, what do you think of the continuation of the Roderick stuff? Because I liked the Roderick.
That's actually
stuff
what I was
in
gonna
this.
ask about.
Darn it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, since there are like a few main side characters, I was just gonna ask what you thought of the other side character.
Well, yeah,
Greg stuff.
I was gonna ask about Roderick specifically,
But Roderick
because
specifically.
it's interesting because he's such an antagonist in like the first couple movies, essentially, until they start to get along and Roderick rules. So it's cool to see, like, I don't know, I thought it was just really neat to see kind of the progression of the story and see them still not be like 100% getting along, but like kind of be like allies, essentially.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Consistently helping each other.
There are so many good Roderick scenes in this movie. In every movie, really.
Dude, the end, the Sweet 16 stuff.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. But yeah, now what was the question? What did I think
Yeah,
of?
like what did you just think of the progression of like Roderick and Greg's relationship as a series?
I think this is maybe one of probably the second most fun Roderick movie. I mean, obviously it's hard to top Roderick Rules.
Yeah.
But the Roderick stuff here is really, really funny because it's the hardest Roderick is trying at doing anything, you know?
Right. He's not
actually putting in effort.
He's not just sitting around being an
failing.
antagonistic force. He's actually actively trying to do something.
Yeah, no,
big mistake.
it makes for a really fun side plot. I really like the Roderick stuff in this one, and all of the emotional beats and stuff with Greg work really well.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know. It's really satisfying to me to like see Greg just be like, okay, I'll help Roderick get in here, and then I'll help him get this gig, and then like Roderick being like, oh, I'll help you do these things.
Exactly, yeah.
And then be like when he came in and like warned him about the stuff in the mail, I was like, oh, that's so, I don't know, that's so like sweet. I don't know, I'm touched.
Micah's crying in the club at the Roderick scenes in this.
It was just, I don't know, man. After, I think that's a really like a real big testament to what these movies are doing on a whole. That I care that much about like their weird side relationship, because they have like no actual time to do anything together in this movie, just side bit stuff.
Yeah.
And like the different times when they end up like hugging each other, like it's, I don't know, man.
Micah's like, I'm crying over here. That was like me watching Ambulance. I'm like, why am I crying at Ambulance right now? It's the brother kinship.
It's the brotherhood stuff. Darn it.
Crying at the regular show again.
But no, I just think I think that was like a big testament to how well I think the character arcs work throughout this.
Absolutely. And I think I'll probably stand by that either Roderick or Greg is like the best written character in this series.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, I don't know, man, the cast is actually like I know people joke about this cast but like it's genuinely
such a good
I can't
cast.
think of any better casting than this. Like just for there's no, this is like the best case scenario casting.
I can't believe that this cast exists.
I would put this
honestly.
casting next to like any iconic casting you can think of. like seriously, 100%, because the way they worked with this cast, and if I'm not mistaken from, I think like the Brown Table video series he did on this, he talked a lot about how they had the cast spend like a lot of time together, like especially the Heffley family.
Yeah.
Like they had them spend a ton of time
That's
together
funny.
to try and get the chemistry like to work with them as
You
a
can
family.
tell, man.
And they did the same with Rowley and stuff. And
Riley.
like for the first movie, Rowley spent like if I'm remembering correctly, the cast just like essentially practically lived together for the time that they were shooting these movies.
Makes sense for something like this, especially when you have a largely like underage child cast, you know?
Yeah. But like, and it just pays off so well. The fact that these are all like pretty darn young actors, the comedy acting, and like the way the relationships and the chemistry between everyone works.
Yeah.
It's just it's amazing.
I will say this is probably the weakest Rowley movie, which is why it's the worst of the trilogy.
Rowley just doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, he's not as funny in this one, you know?
He breaks, Remy.
He
breaks. he lies.
I was
He's
about to
had
say,
too much.
That is a really good bit, I think. But a lot of Rowley's other stuff in this comes off as kind of,
he's not an active force in the movie at all. Even though like Greg spends time with him, he's not an active character force.
I was gonna say it comes off as kind of a like someone else's interpretation of Rowley's character. Like it doesn't feel like the same thing as the other two movies, like the same sort of
even the stuff with the family is kind of like
it gives a different vibe.
It's like the same, but it's like different.
It's like a different writer is writing Rowley, you know.
Even though I'm pretty sure it's the same writing
it probably
team.
is but that's what it feels like, you know.
Yeah. But like, I still stand by the fact that he just doesn't have any active character motivation for the entire thing, so he's just not like because even in Roderick Rules, where he's like more of a side character, for the bit that he is in there, he does have character motivation.
Yeah, I was about to say he's got like the talent show and everything, and his relationship with Greg, and he's got like an understandable motivational force. And this one, he's just like bringing Greg to the club.
Yeah, he's like,
and that's almost his
like,
entire role.
He's like, hey, Greg, want to come to this? And Greg's like, no, you suck. I hate you. That sounds lame. And then he's like, okay. And then Greg's like, wait, Peyton List is going to be
Peyton
there. I'll show up.
It's funny.
Greg's
I will say I liked some parts of the like rally at the pier stuff.
No,
like,
I think it's fun.
It's fun for sure. I just didn't enjoy a lot of his like family stuff. Like I thought it was fine, but it wasn't nearly as funny as I wish it was.
It's just not as funny.
Yeah.
Like yeah, all of the pier stuff, all of the stuff in that is fine, but they never pull off it being as funny as it was in any of the
I was about
movies.
to say, if they'd have done the pier bit in like, I don't know, one of the other movies or some other plot where it factored more into like what was happening, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Because I think again that comes to the fact that like there is not as clear as a motivation for any of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like why does so you have like this stuff where Greg like ends up like sending the emails and stuff and like hurting all like being, you know, a terrible person to all of them yet
as
again.
Usual.
But like we have no motivation for this. Like usually when he's doing something, he's usually doing something as part of his scheme. He schemes so much to try and get whatever he wants.
Yeah, I was about to say, usually he's like, I mean, his stated goal at the beginning of this movie is to have a great summer, is what it says. But that's very vague.
Yeah, it's very vague. And he goes with them, and he's just kind of there because.
Yeah.
And he is like uncomfortable, but like I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like they've had sleepovers before, and now he can't stand it enough to do this while sleeping with him.
Yeah.
Like it's just. It doesn't fully click.
Yeah. No, I was about to say if I could cut anything from this movie, it would probably be that subplot, just because it doesn't really add much of anything. It gives Rowley something to do.
I was about to say, which is sad because I love Rowley.
Yeah, I was about to say I love Rowley. Like he's one of my favorite characters in the whole trilogy. But
yeah, the Pierce stuff, it just isn't.
It's the most disengaged I was the entire movie.
Yeah, because it just and that's a lot of the stuff in this, and it all comes down to very similar problems for why overall not everything is quite as engaging.
Yeah. And I mean, I still gave this a 4 out of 5. I think a lot of it works really well. I keep, because the other two movies are so good, I keep envisioning ways that this one could be better. Because I still think this is an incredibly solid movie.
Yeah. Do you have another question?
I have another question. My question was going to be about Rowley's stuff, but we kind of already brought it up.
Yeah, we transitioned from we ended up talking just about the side characters.
Yeah. I guess, what do you think of Peyton List's role, not only in this movie, but I guess in the trilogy, since this is kind of the conclusion to that, you know? We haven't really talked about her that much.
Yeah, I think it's funny that she's just not in the first one and they have that weird reporter girl.
Right?
I think that's kind of funny.
I thought that was kind of funny.
But I think she is a fun inclusion, but I don't think she's given as much characterization as I would like.
Yeah.
Which is fine in the first one because she's not really, like the first
in
one.
Roderick Rules.
In Roderick Rules. The first one she's in. Which is fine in Roderick Rules because like she's not really that much of a character.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of like, Greg's like, wow, she's hot. And then he's like, I'm gonna be an idiot. And you know it drags it keeps the plot going.
Yeah. It's more of a fun bit in that one.
Whereas this one, it's kind of an active thing.
Yeah, I was hoping they would give it a bit more gravity in this one.
And like I like her character, and they gave her moments in Roderick Rules too, like where she actually emotionally connects with Greg, which I like.
Yeah.
So I like that it like builds more. But as like relationship stuff go, like the relationship stuff in this movie, it's very weird because like yet again, she's at the country club. So we have the country club stuff. And really that's kind of Greg's expressed main reason for still going to the extent that he is. Even breaking in once the peer stuff with Riley.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's there for her. but yet he spends shockingly little time with her while he's there.
Yeah.
So like, there's just not that much time that he spends with her. The scenes that they do and the times, like, she seems very friendly, and I mean, I like how I like their chemistry together. I like especially the trio of Rowley, Greg, and her, but they don't do anything together. Like, there's not, again, at the country club is one of the most just like nothing really happens kind of places, so they never have any like activities they're doing together. They don't have like a classroom setting to give them focus. They don't have a school setting at all. So they're just like, he's like, there she is, standing over there, and her sister just keeps like miraculously cutting off any time they would have together.
Right.
So like, it's fine, and I like that they end up like, she ends up like holding his hand in the end. That was nice. That was sweet.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say,
like,
I thought the last scene was like,
but like, I feel like they don't.
ending.
I feel like they don't give enough time to show why she would like him this much. Like, I know she's emotionally connected with him, and she tries to see like the good in him despite him being this way.
I was gonna say, she's like the best case scenario for someone interacting with Greg. But a very understanding person.
But at the same time, like, I wanted like a more of the reason why she would go through all of this, like, just like chemistry of them together, like, because if they actually actively get along well as a relationship or something, then fine. But 90% of the time Greg is with her, he's being an idiot because he's trying to impress her.
It's like Punch Drunk Love, but like if Barry was a terrible person.
So like, I feel like Greg almost is never himself actually around her, which leads you to not really know why she would really care this much, I guess.
No, that was good. That had always been my like biggest problem with her as a character in this series, is I'm never really fully convinced like why she would be interested in Greg at all, other than to just be polite, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, Greg never does anything egregiously awful to her. No, but he does stuff to Rowley consistently, right? And she's friends with Rowley.
Supposedly very good friends with Rowley. It's funny. But yeah, no, I was gonna say I like her characterization in this movie. I like the Sweet 16 scene and everything. It's nice.
No, I like their conclusion, especially the fact that like it kind of shows the three of them hanging out at the very end, because like that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see like Greg, her, and Rowley just like being middle school friends in summer.
Micah just wants another fun-loving middle school adventure with Rowley and Greg.
You know, but
don't we all?
Greg is like upping the ante on how much he can do to mess stuff up.
Right? There's like high financial stakes this time, you know?
Dude, my biggest thing with when watching this movie, I'm sitting there and he's lying about having a job. He tells his parents, he's like, I got a job at the country club.
What?
Roderick was right. That does not pass the smell test.
Right.
If his parents would have thought about that for 5 seconds, why would they hire him at a country club?
Country club.
There's literally no reason.
Right.
And they serve alcohol there, so he couldn't. But it's whatever. Then on top of that, he doesn't have any money.
Right.
Like I kept waiting, and I thought this might be how they revealed, like how he got like liar revealed essentially.
Yeah.
Is that his dad or his mom or something would be like, oh, you can use this with all of that money you're using because you're working there every single day.
Right. He keeps going every day, as
you're
far
there
as we know.
All day, every day. So where's the money? Where's the money, Greg?
Show me the money.
So I kept sitting there being like, Greg, try and get a freaking job so you can at least like have money, please. So he
didn't do it, Mike.
He doesn't do it. He ups the ante by lying about something that big.
It's crazy.
While also stealing from Rowley's parents, technically speaking.
Right? Not even technically, dude. He's just straight up stealing.
And breaking in multiple times. Like, he stops being Rowley's guest, so he's just straight up breaking into the country club. And then breaking Roderick into the country club. Right. This man will be banned from life. Or for life.
I was about to say, they're going to kill him. Micah, he has been banned from life.
The country club people take it very seriously. They will kill him.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff like that that kind of drags the whole thing down for me. Which I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
these are very small like things. Like if you talk about this in the guise of like a comedy movie, you're like whatever, you know.
yeah,
Like if you haven't seen this movie and you're listening to this, or if you have and just think it's like a stupid little movie, you're probably like, why are you guys thinking about this so much?
right.
And the only reason we are is because again, Roderick Rules especially, and even the first one, are just really shockingly
so good.
well put together.
Yeah.
And most of that, especially the first one, comes down to their simplicity.
Yeah.
And this one does not have the simplicity of the other two.
Yeah, it's very convoluted, or at least a lot more convoluted than the first two are. But I was gonna ask, what did you think of the like camping stuff in the Rangers subplot?
I wish there was more time put to it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think that was finally like something that like
I
could have
thought-
been a really nice emotional...
I thought it was gonna be like a gold mine for comedy, and also like a really good way to progress the dad.
And
Greg
dude,
stuff.
all of the images and stuff that I saw from this movie, I thought he would be at like a summer camp or something with his dad. Like I thought that would be like the whole movie was stuff like that. So I was kind of shocked at how little it was in there.
Yeah, there's only like 5 or 6 scenes that they dedicate to it.
So yeah, I kind of wish there was more of that, because again, it would have been great for comedy. The return of Chirag.
Return of
there.
Chirag, yeah.
Chirag's there, Fredley's there, Rowley's there.
Fregley, dude.
Like it's a great place to get all of your actual Greg aged side characters like together doing comedy and actually giving him an area to connect with his dad.
Exactly.
Because both of them feel pretty inadequate in the woods.
Right.
So that gives them, again, something to bond over.
Should have been like a Swiss Army Man with Greg and his dad.
I hope not like Swiss Army
Well, not
Man.
exactly like Swiss Army Man. Well, like that where they get like stranded in the woods for a scene or something like that.
Yeah, no, like something like that would have really
been
benefited this movie,
hilarious.
because it's really fun to see the two of them work together.
Yeah.
Like the one scene with the dog that they get is like great. I love that scene.
It's a fun scene.
It's really fun to see them be on the same side.
The little cutie stuff is so fun.
The little cutie stuff is great. The stupidest comics in the world, and it's fun to see them be like, yeah, these suck together.
Yeah.
Like again, they have always been at odds throughout these entire movies, but this is the movie that specifically makes you feel it. This is the movie that specifically puts in your face that you should feel bad about how bad Greg is for
Right.
and disappointing his parents, essentially. This is the one where his dad takes an active effort to try and be a part of Greg's life.
Right.
And Greg just kind of throws it all in his face and more.
Dude, I swear, I'm like, show your father a shred of respect, please. Just a tiny bit. You don't have to like what you're doing.
A shrivel of respect.
Just show human decency.
Greg does not have human decency. He doesn't. He just shows it consistently throughout the series.
Right.
So yeah, I would have loved to have, again, like a moment where like, yeah, they get lost in the woods,
There's
or
something like
or maybe
that,
like
you know?
Greg gets injured or something,
Yeah.
since they specifically brought up that he got injured back in the day.
Yeah.
Like just something to really drive home a little bit more before, again, we get to the Greg gets back up to it. Like okay, here's I got it in my mind. Here's how you do it. First half of the movie, you play it pretty similar.
Yeah.
You cut it down a little bit, get it a bit more concise with the country club stuff. Have a little bit more time spent with Rowley and Peyton List specifically.
Okay.
Country club with just them. Roderick can be there too, whatever. Just cut it down. Keep it concise. No peer. You have all of this. You have Greg lying, go blah, 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 blah. Midpoint, he gets caught.
Okay.
Everyone's mad at him again. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. He was lying to Peyton List. He was lying to Greg. He was lying to his dad. Typical Greg behavior.
Wow.
So now he's got to go to probably like a week camp. He's got to go to this week wilderness explorer camp with his dad, and his dad is very disappointed with him, very kind of standoffish, because he's had enough. He's just disappointed in his son at this point. And you can have the military thing as kind of like a joking background thing for stakes.
Yeah.
Then you spend this time having plenty of time for the thing I was talking about, for Greg to actively feel bad about what he did.
Remorse.
because his dad will have more time to be disappointed, like more time to actively show that he will be like upset by this.
Yeah.
More time to show that he may not be giving as much responsibility to Greg. More time to just kind of show that Greg should feel bad for this, that he's truly done it this time.
Yeah.
And then after this rest time and kind of a little bit of bonding, so let's say they start to bond again over this time, they get together more, they start to really connect over something, maybe like how bad they are at camping or an injury or something.
Yeah.
And they bond it and they connect again, and it's great. But then for our final act, we have Greg be like, I've got a scheme again, with him making fun of it. Like, he's gotten away from his scheming the entire time he's been there, and now he's like, I gotta have another scheme. Which you're like, no, Greg, don't do it, don't scheme. And then he says this terrible ant idea, which is a bad idea.
That idea sucked from the moment it came out of his mouth. Why was Fregley on board?
And you're like, how did Fregley get the ants? Anyway, he's like, yes, let's do this. And this time he's like, it's for my dad, we gotta do it. So you're like, so it's a bad idea, but you like get it. He's
doing it for the right reasons.
And then the entire ending plays out the same.
Okay.
But then he's finally like, no, I will take responsibility for this.
Yeah.
Boom. That's how it should have been.
That was a really long way to explain, like, drop some stuff in the first half, add some stuff in the second half.
No, you don't understand. That's it. That would be a perfect movie.
Perfect movie, 10 of 10.
I fixed it.
Pretty good.
Give me the footage. I'll edit it. I'll fix it in post.
Fix it in post. I'm gonna shoot like 3 new scenes in post.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll de-age them.
CGI. Something.
But yeah. I don't really have any other. Like I think that like right there was literally talking about like the big problems.
That sums up pretty much everything I had to say about it. I think it's really fun, and again, that I'm judging it kind of off the pedigree of like your given family film, which this still looks amazing.
This is miles ahead of like half of your like Disney Channel family films,
and like I said,
people are used to.
It's really like, we keep pointing to it, but it's really the cast that's carrying the series.
There's so much sincerity.
Yeah.
It's genuinely looks good half the time. Like the set direction, the way, the cinematography, like it looks good. It feels good. The cast is outstanding. This one, even if it's not quite as funny, it's still really funny.
Yeah, I was about to say, when it does do a joke, like, it's usually really funny.
Like it's a good movie.
Great movie. I loved it. But yeah.
Not quite to the tier of the other ones, but still great. The only reason we're probably harping on any of these issues as much is simply because of the other 2 movies in the trilogy.
Absolutely.
But I've loved this trilogy.
Yeah, no, I said when we finished it, I'm like, when are we gonna get like the 4K trilogy set for this movie?
Like,
I'll buy that.
Why aren't more people talking about this?
Well, that's the thing. Anyone I know who's like seen these movies doesn't like them very much, and I don't know why.
That's really weird.
It's very, very solid, like, comedic filmmaking. Maybe we just need a comedic renaissance. We need a return of like good comedies.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I genuinely think, actually genuinely think, Roger Rules is like one of the best comedies, like fantastic family comedies I've seen.
Yeah, easily.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a very,
great.
Very solid movie that sets up things very well, delivers very well, and is funny with a great cast. And again, all of them look good. And this one is a good ending to the trilogy with solid character moments and funny stuff. Like, I don't get disliking any of them.
I mean, like, I could see it not being your scene, but I couldn't see watching these movies and not at least acknowledging how great the cast is and how like well shot they are and everything like that. Like, there's certain technical elements that I couldn't ignore, even if it wasn't my scene.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very it's weird. I'm weirded out by it.
But yeah, very good movie, very good trilogy. I think overall, like, it's a solid like 8 or 9 when it comes to the trilogy, you know.
Yeah, I think if we average out, because you gave 4 to both of them, right?
I gave 4 to the first two, and then a 4.5 to Roderick Rules, so it would be a 4 overall.
Yeah.
Which is why I said it.
Which, but see, I gave it a 3.5, 4, 4.5.
So yeah, it'd be a 4.
Yeah. So yeah, it averages out to a 4-star trilogy, and I think that's
a great trilogy.
That's pretty accurate. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe we're crazy. Maybe these movies are trash.
These are the episodes and takes that get a deplatform us, Micah. No one believes us when we say a movie's good anymore.
Like, I just don't. I don't know. I don't get it.
Maybe one of these days I'll watch the 4th movie.
Ugh. No, it's not a 4th movie, Revy. It's not the 4th movie.
It is a 4th adaptation of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
It's a reboot.
A reboot. Oh, man.
They did it 5 years later with a different cast.
My goodness. I do want to see it, mostly out of like morbid curiosity, but I know it's probably gonna suck. just because they don't have the same cast. Like, that was half of it.
90% of what makes them so good.
But we'll see. But anyway, that was a good discussion about Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days.
Again, I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
And I gave it a 4 out of 5.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to this trilogy.
Yeah.
Let's get into our What We Watched segment.
Let's do it.
All right, so for those of you who do not know or are new to the podcast or have never cared to listen this far, the What We Watch segment is a little thing we do, a little special treat on the end,
nugget,
where we talk about all of the other movies we've watched since the last episode, briefly share our little thoughts, a little rating, a little nugget of
a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
really,
you just get a little bit in there, you know. So we're going from the 12th,
September 12th, baby.
September 12th,
2022,
on which we watched Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned.
But if you recall, on September 11th, we also watched Village of the Damned. That was last episode.
Why would you watch the same movie twice?
But it's not the same movie. It's the John Carpenter remake.
They remade Village of the Damned?
I know.
What?
That's crazy.
They got John Carpenter,
legendary horror director.
The non-British Village of the Damned, quite good, but not great.
That's what I would have said about the other one too. In fact, I rated these the same rating.
I loved the first one.
I liked this one more than the first one.
Not as big on the 90s
This one hits a little bit more of what I would want from a story like this.
Okay.
I thought the first one was a little boring. This one I was not bored, even though it is longer.
Right, it is longer. You can feel the runtime for sure.
You can feel the runtime, and the other one's 70 minutes. That's bad.
I liked the 70. I liked it. But anyway, Carpenter's Village of the Damned, easily the worst I've seen of his stuff. But I think,
for sure.
I think this is the third, because we watched The Fog. Yeah. And I still think it's pretty good. It has his signature visual style, which looks really good. Like,
again, with both of these movies, I will agree with one of the takes that I saw, and especially why I think I like this one better, is that for the first half of this movie, you get all of the stuff that really makes Carpenter a really fun horror director.
Yeah.
That he really gets how to do atmosphere of locations and people and mysteries, and like all of that's really great. And then the kids get born, and that's how I feel about the first one too. Honestly,
yeah, no, the shift, and honestly, like the back half has always been I think is always gonna be the weaker half in Village of the Damned, unless you're just really, really good at doing this type of horror.
Yeah, like I think the mystery and everything, and the way, and especially the way Carpenter handles the town in this, is a lot more interesting than the weird mind control glowy eye kid.
I said this one feels a bit more ambitious, and I think that's a little to its downfall. I think it comes off as a little messier than the 60s one.
I don't know. I thought they were both pretty messy,
but I did like the alien stuff in this one. Cool.
I give it 3 stars.
I give it a 3.5. I thought it was
and
pretty
you ended up rating it higher than me, which I think is funny, because
No,
I think I
liked
liked it more than you.
I did like it. I like the 60s one better. I think it's better.
See, I gave them both 3 stars.
That's funny.
Then on the 15th, we watched Lion King 1.5.
Certified banger, honestly.
Bread Sword classic.
A Bread Sword classic.
Certified Bread Sword classic. Shout out to Bread Sword Furry.
I honestly can't remember if I had seen this in its entirety before. I think I had at least seen part of it before.
Yeah, we had
when
watched
we were
part
younger.
of it before.
Yeah.
At least. And we've also seen part of Lion King too.
Kind of bad. But 1.5, a lot better than I remembered it being.
It was very fun.
And it's so funny.
It's funny. It's fun.
Surprisingly inventive.
It rides the line between being like cringe and really good.
Cringe.
And it lands on really good.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best prequels I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very simple. It's very nice. It's funny. The cast, they got like the whole vocal cast back, save for a couple people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really loved it. I don't have too much to say about it though.
Yeah, I mean, I admire how ambitious it is. I admire its creativity. I love like some
the facial expressions.
Yeah, I was gonna say the animation and stuff is so good, like very expressive. Even though you can tell it's a lower budget than like Lion King, it still looks great and it's really funny.
Okay. I will say this. I'll say this one thing because I agree with what Bread Sword said. That it was like the smartest decision in the world to recycle songs for this because nothing they would have written on a smaller budget would have compared.
Oh no!
But also recycling songs allowed them to probably have more budget for animation than even most of the prequels and sequels and just the direct to DVD stuff. So this movie ends up
like best case scenario,
looking pretty good. Yeah. I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was great. Good stuff.
Then what did you watch, Rebby?
On the morning of the 16th, I watched The Beast with a Million Eyes.
Oh my gosh, how did you get so many eyes?
Which isn't as metal as you might think it is. It was pretty good. It's a 50s, very low budget sci-fi movie. And if you don't mind spoilers for a 50s movie that no one's ever heard of.
It's 70 years old. It's fine.
The titular Beast with a Million Eyes is just like some little guy. he's like a foot tall. It's so funny. But yeah, I really liked the like costuming and design and stuff of him. It was really fun. And I liked the character drama. It was good, and the sci-fi stuff was cool. So I had a good time.
He thought it was a good time.
I wish it was a little more polished. That's honestly my biggest criticism of it is that like a lot of the horror sequences especially just don't have enough polish to really hit the way they should at all. But it was fun. I liked it. I gave it a 3.5.
Nice.
Very nice indeed.
Then on the 16th, we watched Scooby-Doo in Where's My Mummy?
Where's My Mummy? Who's to say?
Which we went to a used CD store and I found 2 Scooby-Doo movies I hadn't seen yet, and I'm trying to watch all of these so I can do a video on them in October, which is rapidly approaching.
But yeah,
and I still haven't even finished my Moonrise Kingdom video.
Where's My Mummy?
I haven't even recorded. I need to do that.
Where's
I'll
My
try
Mummy?
and record today, actually. Anyway, Where's My Mummy?
The Shyamalan of Scooby-Doo.
It's fun. It's fine.
It's fun, yeah.
It's not the worst. It's not the best. It's still vaguely racist, as all Scooby-Doo movies are in another country.
When they go to another country, it's always a little racist, but sign of the times, I guess.
It's just, I don't know, it's part of Scooby-Doo's DNA, which is not good.
Yeah.
But still. I don't know. It's not my favorite mystery. I think the side plots don't work very well in it, and it just kind of ties together. But the twist at the end, very, very cool. Third act in general is very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
I give it a 2.5.
I give it a 3.5.
Wow. Star more. Then on the 17th, we watched BJ Novak's 2022 movie.
His debut into
directorial debut.
Yeah.
Vengeance. A cool little movie. I've thought nothing but pleasant thoughts about it since I've watched it.
I honestly expected it to be really bad.
So did I.
No offense to BJ Novak, but like hearing that one of the main creators of The Office was gonna do like a Western kind of thing, about like journalism, I was like, okay, this is gonna be really bad.
No, specifically about podcasting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was
not
it was,
only that, but it's like it is actively got comedy attached to it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
But it was good. It was actually like a really thoughtful, like engaging movie.
Yeah, no, I think it's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. It's not as it could have used another screenplay writer, I think.
Yeah, I think
it's a little self-serious and on the nose.
Yeah, it comes off as kind of like, I don't know. You can tell it had one screenwriter.
Yeah, but especially like a one-time
Yeah.
screenwriter.
Yeah.
But it's very fun. It's very, I don't know. It's a very pleasant movie to be in. Which,
Yeah.
To curate an atmosphere that's just nice to be in for a first time like debut of directing, I think is really impressive. And I really enjoyed the ending, and the mystery. So yeah.
Yeah. I admire what it had to say, like socially, and
A solid flick.
yeah, no, it was very good. I said it was like No Country for Old Men for NPR people.
Exactly. I gave it a
funny.
3.5.
I gave it a 4.
And Robbie's just rating everything higher than me.
Apparently.
Also on the 17th, I watched Windfall.
Great movie.
Which, is first time watch.
First time watch, baby.
And Jason Segel, Jesse Plemons, Lily
Jesse
Collins.
Plemons.
Come on.
That is a stacked
That was
cast.
enough to sell me on the movie.
Right.
But I really love what this movie is doing. It's very weird to me because this movie is like pretty generally disliked on Letterboxd.
Yeah, it was kind of panned.
People are like, "Oh, this thing is trash. This thing has no substance. All it's got is some nice looking shots." And I'm like, "Dang, I loved being in this movie.
Right.
I could have sat in this movie
The
for so long.
atmosphere. I loved the
character dynamics and the progression of the characters are amazing.
I loved the economic and political stuff that it does too.
The depth of the stuff of like, you don't fully know what Jason Segel is doing here. Is he here to help somebody? Is he here for selfish reasons? Is he here just because? It leaves a really cool character mystery, knowing nothing really about his character.
Yeah.
And it builds around in such a unique way to watch these characters progress in all of their different little emotional arcs.
I love how scummy Jesse Plemons is in this movie.
He's so fun to watch be a terrible person.
Right.
Like this movie, I don't know. People are saying it's got no depth. I feel like it's pretty in depth with its character work.
Right? I loved it.
And it's very simple. It's at one location, which is very nice for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Ravi said, it just feels like a very classical style movie.
Yeah, no, it feels I said it feels like a 40s drama or something that they happened to make in the 2020s.
I really loved it. I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch it this time, but I had seen it before. So.
On a physical release, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, like, just a side mention, I finished Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and watched the like comeback special weird thing that they did in 2018. Harvey Birdman, Attorney General. It was like the most fan servicey thing I've ever seen in my life, and I just wanted to shout it out. Birdman, weird show. And the special was kind of bad. I gave it a 3 out of 5. But not like I say kind of bad, but it was like still fun. Like, I don't know. That's how I feel about a lot of Birdman as like a show. It's bad, but like also enjoyable. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway.
Up next on whatever day we watched this on, yesterday, whatever yesterday was, we watched Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights, the other movie I had picked up at the used store.
Crazy.
And I had heard nothing but terrible things about this and the fact that it wasn't really a Scooby-Doo movie.
It's not.
And in fact, it is not really a Scooby-Doo movie, and it's pretty terrible.
It has Scooby-Doo on the cover, but that's about as far as it goes.
I do not think it's very funny. I think it's even more racist than almost any other movie taking place in another country.
Yeah, for Scooby-Doo stuff anyways.
Well, yeah, for Scooby-Doo. Sorry.
I was about to say, I've seen more racist
in the Scooby-Doo canon
movies than this.
I think it's kind of lame and rips off Aladdin, and also does not use the Arabian Nights stories for anything interesting at all, and is bad.
I love how it labels the Arabian Nights stories as so boring they'll put this man to sleep.
Right? Like when they said that, I was like, dang, the disrespect. Which, by the way, the same trip The same trip while I was out buying, and I bought this. I went to Barnes & Noble and bought their collector's edition of the book Arabian Nights. So I was like, this was fresh in my mind of like, man, the book is great, and I was like, dang, this is disrespectful.
It's kind of funny.
There are a couple funny things in it, but like really,
it has the Hanna-Barbera charms, but outside of that, it's pretty worthless in my eyes.
It's literally doing nothing on a story level.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing on a story level, and it's mostly not that funny. There's some good funny things. The Cyclops is really funny.
I was about to say there's some good like bits and side characters and stuff.
But it's actively one of the worst Scooby-Doo movies I've ever seen.
It's easily one of the worst Scooby-Doo movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. So I gave it a 1 out of 5.
I give it a 2.5. I didn't think, like, obviously it's not good, but I didn't think it was actively bad. Like, it was...
I thought it was actively bad.
It was enjoyable to a point. Like, I was going between 2 and 2.5. And I was like, you know what? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and give it a 2.5. Not great. But yeah, another Scooby-Doo film.
Then also on the 18th, that very same night, from a purchase of that very same day when I bought Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights.
Watching all the movies, Micah.
We watched Boy and the World, which I bought on Blu-ray, which I was very happy that I found somewhere.
Yeah.
I really love Boy
Great
and the
movie.
World. I really love it.
This was our second time watching, unless you watched it again.
I really appreciate everything that it's doing. This is very much my stylistic style, like, of a movie.
It is.
This is something that I would want to make.
I would, if I had seen this movie before you, I would have been like, that was cool, but this is much more Micah's vibe than mine.
And apparently you did not read it very well the first time.
I don't know what I was on when I watched it the first time. I did not gather that the man throughout the story was the child, the boy, the titular boy, in the world. But that adds a very cool dimension to the movie that I did not pick up.
Yeah, it's like it's got a lot of thematic.
It's like
stuff.
The whole point of the movie.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the emotional core of the. I'm baffled by this. I really love this movie. I love what it's got to say. I love how its topics on the industry destroying family.
It's like First Reformed for children.
It is. This was my first Reformed.
Baby's first
Reformed. They start them young. They even have a scene where they cut to real life flashing images of terrible stuff for the environment.
I will say not quite as good as First Reformed, but close.
I don't know. It's pretty close. I rated them the same.
I did not. I gave it a half star lower than that.
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
But I mean, a 4.5 is still very good. I don't know. With something like this, something as overtly like politically charged, and it really lacks a lot of subtlety. I really need the emotional core to kick in for me.
The abstraction of the way the entire story delivers,
good.
I think makes up for the fact that the story itself is very
in
your face.
But I just never. It didn't connect with me the way I feel like it needed to justify a 5 for me.
Yeah, see, I cried the first time I watched it. I didn't. And then I almost cried the second time I watched it.
So yeah, it just wasn't. It just didn't connect with me as much as I wish it did. But it's still very.
Here's
very
what you do, Rebby. You watch it in a dark room, alone with headphones in.
There you go.
Watch it like that.
Although I will say the motion smoothing on our TV killed the animation.
Sucked.
It butchered it, man.
I was like the frames like chopping like they were. I was like, no.
Smart TVs are the death of cinema.
It's true. I hate to say it, but it's true.
But yeah, Boy in the World, I give it a 4.5. Definitely recommend you watch it.
If you can find it, watch it.
Yeah,
it's hard to find. I got the G Kids release.
Got that G Kids release. Hook me up with the G Kids. But yeah, and then later that night we watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days.
Yeah,
which we just talked about.
We just were.
But yeah, that's what we watched. Since our last episode, Letterboxd has introduced the feature where you can change posters for movies.
If you pay $1 million,
if you pay $1 million per year, you can change the posters.
Which Robbie does.
And I was like, heck yeah, I'll change the posters. So since we're like a Letterboxd themed podcast, I figured should give it a shout out because I thought it was a cool feature.
Go check out Robbie on Letterboxd.
Also, I started buffing out my IMDb and TMDb profiles. If you want to give me a follow on either of those.
Nobody follows people on IMDb.
Yeah, people do. Some people. But yeah.
You can find me on Letterboxd as Micah or games_things. I am the one, the rat. The Ratatouille rat. If you type in Micah, Micah, I am the second person to pop up on Letterboxd.
I'm just at Robbie Grayway on almost everything, so if you need to track me down, you can. Or just go to robbiegreyway.com and all my social links are there if you need to find me.
Yeah, games_things is my at.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
We don't know who knows what's in store.
No one knows, Micah. Not even us.
We're about to hit spooky season, we had a series planned for spooky season.
We did. I forgot about that. We need to do some shopping. I got to get our hands on a lot of these.
Well, I mean, they're all streaming, but
oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we have nothing.
But anyway, bye guys.
Yes. See you next time.